Alright, it's a beautiful Saturday morning. It's a little bit chilly. I've taken a break from YouTube for a little bit, but I'm back. And I did bring this home the other night from the super secret storage facility. It's an 89 Trans Am with all the good stuff. 4-wheel disc, 16-inch wheels, 5.7, typical floppy door handle. I bought this car in June 1995. Got a loan, starved to death, had 21,000 miles on it. But I was the coolest cat in town. Well, it was a small town. So anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and try to get her fired up. I'm going to take a little break on that 46 Ford. It needs a fuel pump at least, and probably a fuel filter, a battery. And then it's going to need tires. It could use a paint job, all the clip coming off. But that's the plan, man. Alright, I went to town and bought a fuel filter. I attempted to buy a fuel pump, but they only had the cheap one. And if I remember right, fuel pumps on this thing are a big pain in the butt to change, so I'm gonna wait and get the good one. And that's alright, because I need to put some fuel in this thing. I got some right there. And I need to put my new battery, which costs $150. Good grief. And another one in here. Crank this thing up, and the charge is gonna be, the plan is gonna be to fire up the Firebird, pull it out. I'm going to need to clean up some stuff over here, store my sheet metal somewhere suitable. I might have to cut it in two or something like that. And put the 46 Ford on that side, and put the Trans Am in on this side, and put that one under another roof I got. You keeping up with me on all that stuff? It's quite a job getting ready to jockey things around here. I've been doing the 20 car shuffle and I ain't done yet. Alright, I put some fuel in the rear tank of that. Now I gotta put some fuel in the front tank. I know I'm using the wrong color can. What you gonna do? And then I need to swap out some batteries in that, and maybe it'll fire up and we can pull it out and see how it looks like outside. My advice is, kids, don't mess with old cars. It's nothing but hard work, expense. You gotta have batteries for them all. That one takes 2 batteries. There's always some. One's got a slack tire, or forgot how to start it and flooded it out like I did this morning. But other than that, it's all peaches and cream. Alright, let me shuffle the rest of this stuff out the way. Another thing about this daggone car hobby is people call you and they'll say stuff like, "Hey man, I got 3 Quadrajets, $5 a piece if you'll come up and get them." So you know what I gotta do. I gotta go get them. So that's why things wind up taking longer sometimes. But it's a good excuse to drive that 66 up the road. It ain't been up the road in a while. And, you know, you gotta keep them limbered up. I've done put 3 gallons in the back tank. Now I need to put 5 gallons in the front tank and switch batteries, and then see if this thing will run. So probably what I'm gonna do now is go get them carburetors and then come back. But I have cleaned up mostly one side of the shop. And I saw Mrs. Heavy Chevy stirring around. She may make an appearance. She might get to missing me. Oh yeah, here's something I messed with one night in the last week or two. I decided to make me a little thing to bend curves on sheet metal. I got that idea somewhere, Pinterest or something like that. I haven't finished it. My plan is to make a stand that I can bolt up here, but I haven't done that yet. I'm sure I'll get to it sometime here, you know, in between the 46 Ford project, the 89 Trans Am project, or the 66 Chevy project, or the boat project, or, you know, one of them. I'll get to it soon.
Oh, that sucked.
Dumped it on the floor, dude.
Yeah, it didn't really go to plan.
Look at it, it runs! I should have done that on video, I guess. Anyway, I'm gonna put the hood on it, let it warm up a little bit, and pull it out. Alright, there it is. I went ahead and parked a minivan on the running board for perspective. Because she's a big old girl, this truck. I gotta get a fender on that side, don't I? She's been sitting here running a good 30 minutes, maybe 45. She's sounding a little better. She's a little rough when the cold misfires. Don't that sound pretty? Fuel gauge works, tach works. I got nothing on the mileage though. Maybe I haven't hooked it up yet, I don't know. Anyway, this ain't the point of the video. Alright, it's in. I didn't video none of it. I should have though. Should have had the GoPro set up, but I don't know. I just didn't do it. Anyways, I got my neighbor come over and help me and give her a shove, and off the trailer it came and rolled her down in here. Well, not quite that simple, but almost. Actually, what had happened was the young man here piloted it off the trailer like a pro. Of course, he didn't have to steer or nothing.
Just had to hit a pedal.
Well, it was good. He done good. Done what I told him. Sometimes people freak out, do the wrong thing, and then cars fall off trailers. You know, it's just embarrassing. Because usually the neighbors are walking. You can see the curtain pulled back, and they're looking through the window. And, you know. I'm sure y'all been there. You know, except for those of you who live on a mountain in West Virginia and ain't got no neighbors. So anyways, let's get this car squared up and up on a lift and see what we're looking at. I'm going to let that truck out there run a while. I think the fan's on, or it was a minute ago. I put some fuel in it. The gas hand works. Oh yeah. See there? Hot. Not hot. Alright, but once again, that's not the point of the video. Alright, now we're finally getting to the point of the video. What time is it? 3 o'clock. And the point of the video is this Trans Am. I bought this Trans Am in 1995, June 1995. And I was making a lot of money then. I think it was like $9 an hour. And I was working like 70 hours a week, so you know I had to buy something. And but I forgot about, in the wintertime, the hours cut back. And I also, the other major thing I forgot about was insurance for a young man. Let's see, in 95, how old was I? Like 22, something like that. Was pretty expensive. In fact, it was just as much as the car payment. So I was one broke dude in the wintertime. I ate ramen noodle soup to keep making the payments on this car. In fact, I was late on one, and my dad had co-signed, and he called and let me know a couple things about it. But I think by the time he did that, I had made the payment. But anyways, so that's why I've never gotten rid of this car. I was a big fat idiot for buying it, but I persevered. It didn't get repoed, and it's paid for. So now I'm gonna try to get it running again, which shouldn't be all that hard. I think the fuel pump is bad. I cracked the gas cap and it smells like turpentine in there. There is a video about 5 years old where I was doing burnouts in the place where it was stored at, because I'd crank it up and run it everywhere. In fact, I bought this battery, F4 that says. That means it was made in 14, or maybe 04. It was 14. And the thing never went down the road with that in it. So it's a new junk battery. But that's alright, I spent $150 on one today. Which reminds me, I still gotta go to town and get the fuel pump. Anyway, so let me get this thing up and we'll size it up, end the video, and then the next video will be what we do to it. And I better pull that 46 Ford in here because I'm getting tired of listening to it run. I may as well show you a couple other things I learned when I bought this car. If you look around in there real close, you'll see where it looks like somebody done some MIG welding. Kind of roughly. Maybe there's some big old gaps. Yeah. See how that's kind of rusty looking? Over in here, there's signs of things being wrinkled a little bit. I bought this car. The man what sold it to me said it had been in a little fender bender inside the shop. So they just repaired it right there. That was about the time, seems like I remember, folks were getting all uptight about people hiding wrecks and selling them like new. Now this is a 5-year-old car, and a little time passed, and look what happened there. Yeah. So it must have been in one heck of a wreck inside that shop at that dealership, because they really had to do a lot of work to it to fix it, and they didn't really do that great of a job. I didn't know no better. I was 22 and I wanted a cool car. Remember, I was making lots of money. $9 an hour. I let my lust for the car overcome my common sense. And that'll happen in other areas of life if you ain't careful. The old car is still pretty good shape, but here's another thing I noticed right after I bought it when I changed oil. Whenever it got in that wreck and, inside the shop at the dealership, it must have bounced up on a car because it put a big dink in the oil pan. They must have been really getting it in that shop. But it's got the good stuff. 5.7 4-wheel disc, 16-inch wheels. The sway bar bushings all fell out. And the front and the back. It's got the 700 R4 transmission, which was good stuff in them days. It's got aluminum drive shafts, dual cats. I took it one time to an exhaust shop to get dual exhaust put on it, and they said it's going to be $850. I said, holy moly, why is that? And they said, well, your converters are bad. I said, show me. He said, see that? One of them shields was rattling. Oh. I might have welded it and fixed it, but one of them shields was rattling. He said, yeah, it's junk. I said, take her off the lift, I'll take it home. So that's what I did, and I put a Flowmaster exhaust on it in the driveway. See, the sway bar bushings are bad. It's got polyurethane ones, but they're just crystallized and falling out. She's got a little specks of rust here and there, but it's pretty clean. It's pretty clean. Here's something else I'll tell you about. One day, all the paint's off that front bumper, because one day I was going through a intersection, and I was turning left is what I was doing, and somebody was coming right at me. And I oftentimes would avoid situations with my right foot instead of my left. And there was 4 of us in the car. Got Milky 1 was one of them. And so I stood on it. It downshifted to first. And when it hit second, as I was going around the corner, she went sideways. And I went down in the median and scuffed the paint on my car. But I didn't lift. I just kept going. We got back out of the median and I went on about my business. And I hope nobody noticed. Well, you know, except my 3 buddies. Alright, so I've been kind of briefly looking at it. Here's what I need to buy. I need to buy a new wing. Because I don't know what they did with them things, but they rust inside and just disintegrate. So I think I've seen where you can get a fiberglass one. I need to buy sway bar links. Or just the bushings. It probably needs shocks because I never put any on it. Shocks and struts. It needs new struts for the rear deck lid and the hood. Might need a new antenna. It has a power antenna in it. I had to unplug it because it got stuck up and it just kept running all the time. So you sit in the car and you hear and it'd drive you crazy. Typical
crazy
80s. Was driving you crazy?
Yeah.
And you weren't even born yet.
Well, I got the sound effects hooked.
So I had to unplug that. Oh, and one time it's got a chip in the key. I was with my buddy Got Milky 1. And we went to the parts store to pick up something and got back. The thing wouldn't crank. So I figured out something with that system failed. And the only way to fix it was you unplug the relay under the hood. I figured out which relay, fired right up. I hadn't had no trouble since. Well, you know, since it quit running, I haven't had any trouble with it. Learned lots of things with this car. Anyways, there's more to come. I don't know how far I'm going to take it, but I am going to get it running. I don't know if I'm going to paint it. It needs it. But it needs new tires. It needs a little TLC. You need to patch some of this stuff back together. Need to get a wing. Really wouldn't take that much to paint it. It's pretty straight. Maybe fix some of them old body shop repairs from, you know, back when they had a little bump up in the shop. I don't know what they were doing. Demolition derby or something. Must have been a big shop. You'd think they wouldn't let them do that with such new cars. I wonder if I can do a Carfax if it'd go back that far. I don't know. I'm going to quit thinking out loud. Young man here, he's going to ring the bell, right, bud?
Yeah.
And we're going to signal the end of this video. And we're going to try to make another one tomorrow. So, go ahead. Ding, ding, ding. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe. Tell your friends what an awesome videoer I am. And cool cars I got. And someday he'll have them. And you can go to MrHeavyChevy.com and buy yourself a sweatshirt like that. Turns out real popular with the ladies. Right, bud?